And just say when you're going to the supermarket, your basket are going to be XYZ. And when you're going to the supermarket, 5 items only can buy with 1 money. When the 1 money, you also give it 4 items. So we are living.
After the tragic killing of Danielle, I had directed the then Commissioner of Police to take all the necessary investigative steps to bring the perpetrator to justice. Today, I want to commend the police for conducting a thorough investigation and compiling evidence which led to the perpetrator being taken into custody and pleading guilty. My government remains committed to reducing incidents of violent crimes, particularly against our nation's children. This afternoon on my return from the UN, I was briefed by the Commissioner that murders are down approximately 17.8% year to date. We will continue to aggressively pursue further significant reductions in murders.
This is rated R or A16. You see, in Jamaica, the data shows that sex is now wielded as a weapon of assault, manipulation, and control, and the reality is already in our high schools. Children's advocate Dan Gordon Harrison raised the alarm in 2019 that revenge porn, yes, revenge porn was a trend being practiced among high school Jamaican teens. And I learned this when I was writing an article on the Jamaican schoolgirl and the online sex or porn industry. And what revenge porn is in Jamaica is that a boy and a girl in a relationship in high school now have no problems about filming themselves in a sexual act. However, if the relationship ends badly, then one of them releases a video digitally to embarrass the other party. Now, let's be honest. Sex is taboo. Nobody likes to discuss it in Jamaica. But because so many people have come to me about different things, I've learned that sex is the latest currency primarily used to attain, for some, social mobility, sometimes by choice or sometimes by control. And also, sex is being used as a weapon of entrapment or blackmail to a vulnerable party, especially if they try to leave or act outside of the prescribed norms or the terms of engagement that were originally established. In corporate Jamaica, there are no more reported sexual harassment incidents. This is somehow the new sense of entitlement among what I call predators in the workplace within certain positions of power, who believe that sex is the rite of passage for others to be given the privilege of even getting a promotion. And so over time, I've met with many young men and many young women who have asked my help or for intervention to maneuver a boss or an intimate partner who's forcing them to participate in sexual act as a form of control for them to get or keep a job or for them to receive monthly financial assistance. And before everybody starts judging the person, sometimes you just don't know the circumstances that people find themselves in and why they can't leave. So this is not what that is about. Because oftentimes a sex manipulation is aggressive and the person is being asked to bring multiple persons who are brought into the space for the voyeurism, yes, the voyeurism on the part of the manipulator. And if the vulnerable party tries to leave the circumstance, then the material gains are either immediately withdrawn or they're threatened with physical and reputational harm. So many either leave the country, they keep quiet, or they just leave the job. And there's some people who argue that it is our dancehall culture, through some of our famous artists, that elevate and promote this behavior, which has sparked huge debates as to whether the personification and normalization of what I deem violent, dominant over the submissive sexual practices could be a contributing force. I remember speaking at a civil society group and they asked me to speak about, the breaking down of traditional systems that was eroding the mindset about the rule of law and discipline in our society. So as I was speaking, I was giving several examples while, asking about established norms that should never be called into scrutiny. And so I asked the question, should those, one of the questions I asked, just one among several, should those who are incarcerated be permitted to make new music for the sale and distribution? And because, if they were doing that, then what message are we really sending to others about breaking the law if the police are perceived to not even be able to hold up their own rules, and who could not even hold up its own prison rules? One radio journalist took my questioning out of context and decided to sensationally tweet that I wanted the music of a particular artist banned from being played on the radio. The comments were so swift and so viral. And in those comments, there were threats to me of gang rape followed by death. And as I read through many of the messages, and some of them I received phone calls and I got texts, both from men and women, that, I was supposed to be reprimanded by violent sex. They need for gang rape you and give you a gunshot in your pussy. That girl, they need a gunshot in her head after I'm done with her. One of them said, but you're rude. You forget rape and dash way. And so it continued. And it was like that. And I remember going through and I was like, I couldn't believe it was also women that were saying that I should be subjected to this. And that I was subjected to being raped violently first by multiple persons, and then shot and killed as a form of discipline for even daring to question our institutional systems and entertainers that were incarcerated. Now, data prepared by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution showed that there were 437 sexual offense cases listed for this term, including 24 new cases and others transferred from the Easter term. And rape remains the dominant sexual offense. There are about 188 cases, followed closely by 143 cases of sexual intercourse with a person under 16. And then you had, 38 cases of grievous sexual assault. And these are the ones that are reported because so many are suffering and don't even want to come forward because of the same manipulation and control and the threats to them. And it has caused the Deputy Senior Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Jeremy Taylor, KC, to call for more to be done to stem the rise, yes, the rise, in sexual offenses in Jamaica, and that the policymakers are not doing enough and not paying enough attention. And I don't remember the exact quote, but I'll paraphrase what he said. He said, look, so much is being done about firearms and so much is being done about murder, but we have a high rate of sexual offenses and hardly anything is being done about it. And that these sexual offenses, what they're seeing is that it's become cultured and it has become a part of our Jamaican landscape. Now, in other places around the world, their attorneys or public prosecutors are moving to prosecute high-profile perpetrators, including in the US with Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly, and now Sean Diddy Combs has been indicted. In France, if you've been paying attention, there is a 71-year-old Frenchman who is now on trial because for a decade he drugged his wife and watched men rape her while she lay unconscious in bed. In the UK, the late billionaire owner of Harrods, Mohammed Al Fayed, dozens of women are now coming forward to say he was a monster and that he raped them or assaulted them sexually. I'll never forget in 2017 when Superintendent Enid Ross Stewart, she was the head of Sissoko, told a joint parliamentary committee that in Jamaica it was the pastors and the policemen among the leading high-profile perpetrators of sex offenses against our children. We've been operating with our eyes wide shut for a long time, and it's time that we listen to Mr. Taylor and clamp down on the systems of predators and sexual violence in Jamaica. Perhaps it's time to make our sexual offenses registry public. Now, if you agree, just drop a comment or just make a comment, because there's so many men and women who are experiencing this on a daily basis. And you can also scroll back and read some of my articles or just watch my YouTube channel but let's do something.